As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, good evening and welcome into the Room to Room Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor for Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Tracking what could be a soggy night for some, but where those showers set up still is the golden question. This as a stationary front begins to move more into North Mississippi, potentially bringing thunderstorms for our Thursday. And again, we'll track that out county by county in just a moment. Of course, timing and impacts coming up as well. But the impacts actually going to be told to us by our exclusive triple threat product, the Mississippi Live Weather exclusive, walking us through all the potential severe weather impacts and how that fares with our forecast on our Thursday. Drier and warmer weekend ahead though, and that is shaping up perfectly for our baseball season. Both the Rebels and Bulldogs heading off to Texas, and it's looking even better out there in the Lone Star State. Nonetheless, we are going to be tracking all of that here at the 6 o'clock hour, and it starts with the first 12. 7 p.m., 20% chance. Now that is a very limited chance for those showers to take place. And if we do get these 30% chances to verify, which we expect it to do so as that front moves closer, it's only going to be rainfall, and honestly light to moderate rainfall at that. Once we get more into our morning time frame, that's where we could get a mix of some rumbles of thunder and thunderstorms pushing more into the afternoon. Some impactful, but where they set up, that's still what we're tracking here in more detail. And we'll of course track that here at the 6 o'clock hour as well. As you take a look there in Pontotoc, 64 degrees and that blanket of cloud cover still covering our skies. Dew points in the low 50s today. This time yesterday, they were in the low 20s. So a pretty good swing as we get into a 24-hour time frame, but again, setting the scene for our Thursday rain chances. West Point, 66 degrees, dew points around that same margin. So pretty warm, all things considered, by the afternoon, but a big reason why is that shift in the weather pattern, allowing for that moisture to build in and that Gulf heating to push in as well. Greenville, a bit breezy, 16-mile-an-hour winds coming out of the south, 72 degrees though, with dew points in the mid-50s. So folks, it's getting to feel more and more like spring. Had someone ask me the other day, Gabe, is the freezing time over? I will say we can't make any guarantees that we're never going to freeze again here in this winter season, especially. But as we move later into our winter forecast and more into early spring, our chances of going to those extreme cold temperatures dwindle as each day passes. So looking over the next 7 days, I think we're in a good stretch where that spring-like air will dominate our forecast. But with spring comes showers. What is it? April showers bring May flowers. Well, I guess February showers might bring a couple flowers as well, because we're seeing those showers north of Highway 6, and that is where they'll pretty much sit as we get into those 6, 7, and 8 o'clock hours. Again, as we zoom in on these chances, they're very limited, and any that is actually happening more than likely not reaching the surface. This is that limited capacity that we've been tracking. We were talking this time yesterday about how we expect a lot of these showers to be elevated that are showing up on Futurecast, doing exactly that. So staying more elevated, not reaching the surface just yet. But as those dew points climb and the rainfall becomes a little bit more impactful, that's where we'll see those rain chances reach the surface and in some cases bring some pretty decent magnitudes as well. This is that stationary front that we were talking about, basically right over the top of North Mississippi, as has been the case all day today. Wrap your mind around that. This is a slow-moving front that basically has, if any movement, it's about 5 miles an hour. So not exactly breaking the sound barrier on this one, but what will be driving our forecast and driving this front further south is this low pressure center up there towards Kansas and Oklahoma. This is that positively tilted trough working its way further into North Mississippi. So by 3 a.m., that system not too far away, and as that system inches closer, it's going to bring basically swap this into a cold front, pushing that further off to the south and acting as that lifting mechanism for our morning forecast, not only giving us some showers, but you look in there, and we'll zoom it in a little bit closer and, of course, go over this county by county in just a moment. There's a few reds mixing in there, which means some higher rainfall outputs and potentially some higher storm tops which could result in some rumbles of thunder as well as a few small hailstones. Not exactly out of the question in this setup. As that frontal system pushes further off towards the south and east, a little bit more impressive towards northern Alabama, but not impossible to keep those rumbles of thunder here in North Mississippi by mid-morning. But those rumbles of thunder really will pick up by the afternoon again as that front progresses through the area and also that moisture climbs and heating climbs by the afternoon. As you can see, temperature-wise, 57 degrees at 6 a.m. We're 67 by noon and 69 degrees by 3 p.m. A few locations actually reaching into the low 70s. But rain chances, that's the story for our Thursday. Not only are they rain chances, there are also some storm chances as well. Of course, we'll track all of that in more detail using our triple threat Mississippi Live exclusive. We're also going to be looking at that fuel coming up later in the 6 o'clock hour as well. Several different products. We'll be walking you through what that means for our forecast on Thursday, coming up here in the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60 seconds.
I have been going to Tupelo Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Tupelo Smiles.
Look at Wanda, ready to rock her big presentation. But first, lunch. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Delicious, celebratory, but is it quick? The Cobb salad. Tender oven-roasted chicken, topped with cheese. Prepared, plated, and served? In 6 minutes? Is this for real? Well, of course. Well done, Wanda. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Yes, ma'am. Life is sweet.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Thank you for watching us tonight in Golden, in Ecru, and over there in Fulton. Fulton, a busy area tonight as we do have playoff games happening as we speak. Our Ethan Foster shooting those highlights, and he'll actually join us tonight at 10. I know it's not our game of the week, but we're giving you some extra coverage this week, being that it is playoff action, and he'll have those highlights coming up at the 10 o'clock broadcast. So, hey, maybe stay up a little later. Wednesday, it's a fun time, and we'll, of course, be here at 10 o'clock showing you those highlights and showing you the latest on those rain chances on your Thursday. But we're actually going through that right now here on Mississippi Live Weather using an exclusive product called the Triple Threat. Now, what this walks through is the 3 different severe weather parameters that we're talking about with potential thunderstorms. So what we have is rotation showing up at those reds and whites, those stripes that we're looking for. We also get that with wind damage with those yellows and oranges showing up. And if large hail were to happen, those blues will show up as well. So any of these 3 products is what we look for in our Triple Threat. And hey, there's 3 things. Triple, yeah, makes sense. So we also we appreciate this product because it kind of walks through what to expect as we get into these storm chances. So overnight tonight and into early Thursday morning, not really tracking much of anything. There's not too much lift with that action early morning on our Thursday, but we are watching for those impacts as we move further into our afternoon time frame. This as that frontal system pushes more into North Mississippi and potentially get some strong storms out of it. So there you're getting that development right along that frontal boundary, and I know the frontal boundary isn't actually there. I didn't want it to cover this product, but imagine you basically have a cold front stretching across the northern extent of North Mississippi. That's going to develop some of these showers and potential thunderstorms. And as they continue to move in that southeast direction, you do get a few of these stripes that are out there towards Jasper and Coleman, Alabama. Now, if I zoom in on that real quick, what we're getting out of this is some hail potential, not necessarily tornadic potential. And that's what I'm watching for. And you see that hail product, again, one of our 3rd things, part of the triple threat. Look right there. That's showing us that potential large hail is possible working its way into Birmingham, Alabama, and off there towards the east side of Birmingham as well. Now, one of the things that does stand out, and I'll carry it over through the rest of our Friday, you do see some of these stripes that are working their way into Alabama. Again, I do expect this to primarily be a hail threat and that tornado threat. It's not exactly the right ingredients and the right movement for tornadoes to take place. So any of these bright stripes I do have primarily as hail products, and further evidence of that. If we move off there towards Atlanta, you see those blues that are showing up. Again, that large hail potential moving off there towards Peachtree City and off there towards, I believe that's McDonough, whichever you say it. We're Mississippi, we're not Georgia, so apologize there. But that's more into our Friday morning. So I know I have some folks that tune in from Alabama over there towards the Birmingham area, my folks actually. And if they're watching, I do want to let you guys know that the potential for strong storms is more likely out there towards Alabama, as the ingredients are a little bit more primed because this is moving through later on our Thursday. So watching that for Alabama, our potential is very limited. You do see some of that potential large hail off there towards Lamar and Marion County, Alabama, but North Mississippi, not exactly looking like an area that's primed for severe weather to take place. Does that mean we get storms? We still get storms. But whether they reach that severe weather threshold, I think we stay just below that throughout our Thursday and early hours of our Friday. So carrying this out into the rest of our forecast, and we look at those threat levels, you can see that we are basically level 1 threats across the board, showing that we're not overly concerned for severe weather, but that some hail possible and some gusty winds and some of those collapsing thunderstorms. That's what we're paying attention to as we get more into our Thursday forecast. I said it last Friday, and I'll say it again this Thursday. We could see impactful storms, maybe not severe storms. Impactful being 20, 30 mile an hour gusts knocking down a few of those limbs that were damaged from the ice storm. That's still the same potential we're dealing with this week if this sets up in the right way. And so that's what we're watching into our Thursday, and I'll be here all Thursday long as needed in case we need to cut in and let you guys know what's happening a little bit sooner than our 5 o'clock broadcast. 72 degrees in Cleveland, and those breezy conditions continue out there as Old Glory's blowing from the south. That's 16 mile an hour gusts, but those dew points still in the mid 50s. We'll need that to come up a little bit more before we get this rainfall to reach the surface, and not too much more. We're talking upper 50s, low 60s before we see those rain chances verifying a little bit more. Aberdeen, 64 degrees, dew point at 54. So again, that drier environment transitioning to more of that saturated environment is what we're paying attention to here in the next at least 8 to 12 hours. 64 degrees in Columbus, and an active night there on the roadways on Highway 45 and Highway 82, a little bit more tame, but I'm sure that'll pick up in action as we head through the rest of our evening and folks head to and from church. So it's going to be a good night for sure. The vast majority of North Mississippi staying on the drier side, but we are paying attention to some of those rain showers up there towards the Memphis area. As we look at our Memphis radar site, again, this is more elevated. This is not showers coming down in Russellville and Florence. This is going to be way high up in the atmosphere, some of that moisture that's developing, but we do expect a few drops actually happening towards Marshall, DeSoto, Tate, Benton, and even Tippah County. Zooming that in a little bit closer, you can see just how sporadic this is in regards to development. So this isn't exactly going to do anything to our forecast, or at least result in some increased totals. But what we are getting is that development happening over and over, basically cyclical development, because that front is right over that Tennessee state line. So while it remains there, we'll continue to get those rain chances building into the area. Very light, non-impactful, but still those chances are there. So if you're in Holly Springs tonight or Ashland, Mississippi, even out towards Senatobia, grab that rain gear heading out the door just to be on the safe side. It's a light rain, but it's still rain. I want you guys to stay dry for any of those plans that you may have. Rainfall rates still not overly high, and a large part of this not even making it to the surface because of how light these rain showers are. I mean, earlier on we were tracking a ½ inch an hour, but now we're down to 0.12 of an inch. Yeah, not exactly breaking the bank when we're talking about those rainfall rates. There's 1/100th an inch an hour. Yeah, not exactly anything to write home about, but nonetheless, we are going to continue to keep those rain chances in the forecast before more impactful showers move in on our Thursday. Now, severe weather risk, we're talking about a very limited potential for any strong storms, and that really going to be towards Alabama, but no severe weather risk is in play for today or tonight or into our Thursday. Now, we're watching this just in case, but we don't expect the severe weather threat to be put into Mississippi, just below those severe weather thresholds. But out towards Alabama, I wouldn't be shocked if they did get a marginal risk getting more into our Thursday and Friday. Day planner tonight, rain chances remain scattered, 30% by 8, still same thing by 10, and off there towards midnight. But I will say these rain chances tonight, not going to be impactful. They're just going to continue that light development, not exactly resulting in too high of rainfall totals. So as we track this stationary front tonight, stays primarily up there towards the Tennessee state line. Very little, if any, movement happening, so that's where those showers will remain. So church plans, if you live along in south of Highway 82, don't need to grab that rain gear. I think the rain chances stay well towards our north. But once we get into the late hours of our Thursday, or late hours of our Wednesday, early hours of our Thursday, That's where this front will begin a little bit of a southeaster movement to it, and that's where these rain chances and potential storm chances move in as well. You see those reds popping up, that shows increased rainfall rates, but what it's also telling me is there will be a little bit more lift, allowing for some of these storm tops to get a little bit higher. Low temperatures on your Thursday, 59 degrees Grenada, 61 Greenwood and Belzona, as well as out there towards Greenville, 57 Tupelo, Amory, and 54 Boonville, Iuka, and Red Bay. Your school bus forecast, pick up 56 degrees, 69 by drop-off, so not much change as the day goes on. What that also says is it's a very saturated environment, so cloud cover will linger, and for some spots, those scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue as well. A little bit more increased in coverage from what we're having tonight, but that's as that frontal system pushes further through the Magnolia State. Getting a better visual of that right here, that stationary front continuing to move south and east, and where that front is positioned, we are going to have that band of showers attached to it, and even a few rumbles of thunder if things were to interact with the right ingredients at the right time to produce a few thunderstorms. That will gradually work its way south and east, so as that front gets closer, by 10:30, we're talking closer to Tupelo and Oxford. Down by noon, we're getting closer to Amory, and into the 1, 2, and 3 o'clock hour, we're going towards the Golden Triangle, and then continuing those chances off there towards the south and east, working their way into Tuscaloosa County, working its way into Birmingham, Alabama, and that's where potentially some strong storms are in play. As we look at high temperatures, though, it's a warm environment for sure. So that's why the increased thunderstorm potential is a little bit higher by the afternoon. It's because there's more unstable air to deal with and more of that warm air to cause some of these storms to rise. So 67 degrees, Holly Springs, South Haven, and Corinth. We're 74, though, Starkville, 73, Macon, and Louisville, and even 75 showing up in Belzona. Now, we're normal. 61 degrees, we're way above that for this time of year for our February. Let's see, what is tomorrow? 26th. We're almost to the end of February, guys. 2026, flying on by. Thursday evening stays with those scattered showers, but as this low pressure center pushes off towards the east, taking these rain chances with it, and then limiting our potential as we get more into our Friday. So Friday, you're going to bed Thursday night. Gloomy conditions, even a few showers still trying to linger, but by Friday morning, you're waking up to a beautiful sunrise and that drier air in the forecast, so it's not going to feel as sticky outside. That's a sign of that high pressure center moving into the area, allowing for those drier conditions to be moved in place, but it's not going to result in an extreme temperature drop-off. I mean, we're still pretty mild on our Friday with 48 in Tupelo, 46 Oxford and Water Valley, 50 still showing up Grenada, Eupora, and 52 Louisville and Kosciuszko. Our normal is 40 degrees. We're still well above that after our frontal system pushes on through. So not going to see temperature impacts, but the dry air will be the story as we get into our Friday. That only becomes more dry as the day goes on, and those northerly breezes going to be pretty nice with how warm those temperatures get into the afternoon. So if you've not made plans Friday, I said it at 5, I'll say it again at 6. Figure out something to do, and figure out something to do outside. You got to take advantage of this forecast. It's going to be a good one. And if you want to get outside before our game of the week, highly recommend that as well. Our game of the week going to be over in at the Northeast campus in Boonville. Excited to watch Rosa Fort take on Kosciuszko. It's going to be a good matchup, and we'll have that forecast coming up for you at 10 o'clock for our game of the week specifically. Friday evening, staying on the drier side. So as you can imagine, our game of the week and everywhere in North Mississippi, staying with those clear conditions and enjoying a dry forecast after the soggy Thursday that we'll be dealing with. High temperatures, I said that the northerly wind would be nice with the temperatures. Well, look at this. 69 Tupelo, New Albany, Oxford, and Holly Springs. We're 71 Water Valley, stretching towards Houston and Amory. 70 in Starkville and 71 Kosciuszko. Again, normal, 61 degrees, well above that once again. And get ready for me to say that quite a bit, because we're going to be well above that normal for the next several days. Our SEC baseball forecast, you might be wondering, Gabe, why are the 80s in the forecast? Well, out in Texas, it's a little bit warmer. So as our Diamond Dogs take on Arizona State Friday night, or I guess Friday, I think that first pitch is at 11 a.m. That's going to be 80 degrees, 85 on Saturday as they take on Virginia Tech. And then UCLA, the #1 team in the nation, taking on Mississippi State, 84 degrees. Can't blame the forecast when we're talking about that game. Should be a great matchup, and hopefully Mississippi State goes 3-0, but we have 3 tough matchups heading into this weekend, and that is in Arlington, Texas. I know a few folks like to travel with the Dogs, and so if you're traveling out there, you're enjoying a great forecast. Now, as we look at our forecast for Ole Miss taking on Baylor on Friday, that's 81 degrees, and I believe it's Ohio State on Saturday, 81 degrees as well. And it's 81 degrees on Sunday, and I forget who they're playing on Sunday. I went 5 for 6. I will look behind the scenes at some point and get that lined up. But nonetheless, it's a great forecast in Houston as well. Should be a great time out there in Texas for both of our Mississippi teams, and hopefully both of them come back with a win. We are tracking showers, though, before we get to enjoy that weekend forecast. That's on our Thursday. But once those dry conditions move in, they stick around for a long time frame into Saturday, into Sunday, into Monday, with limited chances on our Tuesday, pushing back into the forecast. Temperature-wise, mid-70s here in the Magnolia State. So Texas, you're not the only one getting warmer. Here in Mississippi, we're looking pretty good as well. Now, we do still have rain chances. I don't want to overlook that. So coming up here in the next 60 seconds, we're going to be talking more detail about what to expect, the fuel, the ingredients that we need for storms to take place. How much of that do we have and how much of that will impact our forecast? We're using both our strike model and HRRR model going head to head, and what we expect to happen. We'll walk through that forecast in more detail here in the next 60 seconds. We're also going to talk about a place that I got to go to today, one of the school visits that we got to do here for Mississippi Live Weather. We'll look at that all coming up after the break.
The 9th Annual World of Customs Indoor Car Show, Friday through Sunday, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Custom cars, trucks, and bikes, free Hot Wheels racing, and a free Hot Wheels each day for the first 50 kids. Special guest Eric Estrada from the TV show Chips, Pinstriper Von Hot Rod, Michael Brandt of Garage Bound Mobile Welding, and Bumblebee. The World of Customs Car Show, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Partially funded by Visit Mississippi and Tupelo Visitors Bureau. Some proceeds go to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital and Wounded Veterans Charities.
Save today at Room to Room's President's Day sale. 55% off furniture and mattresses, 20% off accessories, and 24-month special financing. The time to act is now.
Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like your home.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
All right, so what we're taking a look at now is our HRRR model. Might look a little bit different because we're mixing in something that we call CAPE, or the available energy, the energy allowing for those thunderstorms to take place, and the energy potentially allowing for some strong thunderstorms to take place. As we take a look at these overnight hours, they are way ambitious on those rain chances. Again, the HRRR model showing way more rainfall than what we expect to happen, but we do expect at least a few isolated showers working into those overnight hours. As we get more into 6 a.m. on our Thursday, there's that unstable air that begins to move into the forecast. This as dew points start to climb a bit and add to those ingredients that are needed for thunderstorms to take place. Well, follow this line. As it goes along that instability, it of course starts to show a little bit higher rain rates, meaning that some of those storm tops could be lifting as well, forming those larger drops and potentially some of that small hail as those get more into northern Alabama. As we take a look at those ingredients continuing to build across the area, as the day goes on with how warm our temperatures are, that warmth acting, there's the word I was looking for, acting as a lifting mechanism for us as well. And so by the time we get to that early afternoon time frame, some of these showers could translate into thunderstorms if they were to take advantage of the energy that's in place here in North Mississippi. By the time we get towards mid-afternoon, there's more of those reds showing up, showing that thunderstorms are expected, and we'll begin to move across the area late into our afternoon and early evening. Expanding things out, you can get a better visual on how things stand towards Alabama, and you're showing way more reds and yellows showing up towards Birmingham and out there towards Atlanta, Georgia, whereas here in North Mississippi, there's a few potential thunderstorms, but honestly, we're still dealing with those light to moderate showers. That will continue into the late hours as well, as this energy basically pushes off towards the south and not going to be as impressive either once nighttime does set in. So limited unstable air as we get more into those overnight hours, but we do see a decent amount of that here in North Mississippi. It's just you also have winds that need to interact correctly and other external factors that are not just CAPE that need to go right for severe thunderstorms to happen. We're fortunate that that's not the case, but of course, we will monitor that here in the next 24 hours. As our strike model, it indicates there are a few more light to moderate showers moving into the area, but I like the positioning on this a little bit better because as you saw in the HRRR, way more widespread on those chances overnight. Our strike model staying a little bit more limited, and I like how that lines up, especially with where we sit right now. So by 3 a.m., there's a few of those light to moderate showers, but as we get more into the early morning hours, there's that amount of fuel up there towards the northern part of North Mississippi, whereas these showers going to remain slightly out ahead of it. More development will happen along that cold front, getting more into our mid to late morning, but as we work our way into the afternoon, similar to our HRRR model, you get more of that fuel here in North Mississippi, and if these were to become a bit more, this is too widespread, but if this were to become a bit more scattered, then I think we'll get an increased chance of some thunderstorms. I think we stay below the severe weather thresholds, but in regards to some strong thunderstorms, that I would say is more towards Alabama. Here in North Mississippi, I think we're just basically looking at showers and a few thunderstorms. That, if we look on the grand scale, once again, moving more into Birmingham, there's some of those storms that are looking a little bit more impressive out there towards Atlanta and Birmingham. Again, here in North Mississippi, just a few pop-up showers. And that's where we'll end our rainy day and transition more into a dry Friday ahead as those thunderstorms really push out there towards Georgia and result in a few thunderstorms as well. So grateful that's not our forecast. Grateful that we get kind of a tame rainy event that we kind of need here in North Mississippi. And as we saw at 5 o'clock, some of those rainfall totals getting in excess of about a ½ inch in some spots. So we'll take it for sure. Anything to alleviate those drought concerns, anything to alleviate these dry conditions that are causing issues with burning, I think will come in handy for anything that we have planned for our weekend. Now, speaking of stuff that was planned, we actually got to head out to Tupelo High School today for a career fair. Got to talk to several students about careers in meteorology. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the pictures there at the visit. So here you're getting a view of the setup. We got the mobile room-to-room weather center set up there at the media center there at Tupelo High School. And of course, we got to talk to students. There's one of the students actually giving the forecast. So, hey, room-to-room weather center, I'm serious, it goes everywhere and allows anyone to give the forecast. So great students, great times, great people. And really honored to be able to talk to them and showcase what they know, talk to them more about a career in meteorology, and hopefully you may see some of them in the distant future once they wrap up their college careers, maybe going into the field of weather. And yeah, we'll see where the future takes them. But a lot of good students and a great time out there in Tupelo, per usual. And the Golden Wave always showing up and showing out. So thank you to Tupelo High School and Katrina for having us out there. And we enjoyed a great time, and we'll gladly come back whenever you want to have us. But yeah, it was a great time, and excited to talk about the future of meteorology and seeing that it is in good hands with that next generation being fascinated with the world of weather. So as we look at that day planner tonight, still seeing those scattered chances by 8, 10, and 12. Still just rainfall, though, not going to be overly impactful, not going to result in too much rainfall either. But coming up at 10 o'clock tonight, we'll be now casting these showers as they begin to move more into North Mississippi. But at 10 o'clock, we're also going to be looking at some of those highlights here in North Mississippi as playoff action does continue. So make sure to download that Mississippi Live weather app today to go ahead and check out those highlights, but also check out the forecast. We had a few more of those students download the app today, seeing all the cool tools that it had and all the information, basically keeping you prepared, and they were fascinated by it, and I think you guys will as well. So give that a download today. Try it out. Tune into our stream there at the top of the page, that 24-hour channel, running constantly to keep you guys updated. At 10 o'clock tonight, that's going to be on stream as well, and I'm excited to bring in our Ethan Foster to show those highlights of what's happening in North Mississippi as playoff action continues tonight. See who won coming up at 10, and see where those rain chances are going coming up at 10 as well. You guys have a wonderful evening. We'll see you back here in a couple of hours.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy